Comes the voice. Oh, so welcome this in-between time between Christmas and New Year, kind of the end of the year and looking towards something new, just letting it move. So I'm glad to be here with you guys. So let's first of all set space, okay? So we gather here in the sacred ground of sovereignty. This is our space, our homes, our bodies, our world, our families, our communities. And we claim them as our own and place them into that space of sovereignty. Life affirming, life expanding expressions of divine good is what sovereignty is about. So we gather here the sacred triad of the divine feminine, the one responsible, responding, availability to designing. With Gaia, our roots deeply anchored there with her. With Sophia, the discernment, quick authority voice of life affirming yes, life destruction not. So that we can be out in the world in that full presence of divine good, of love, those higher vibrations, because we do not allow or tolerate to any degree agendas that use that for their good or their benefit. So in this walk between completion of the holiday season, between Christmas, between New Year's, between Hanukkah, between New Year's, we gather with those who are here, knowing and having a sense of vision and future that we don't need to have yet. But we know we can trust that movement and expansion of love and of good. So we invite them into our circle, into our space. Thank them for holding us and guiding us. So our circle is declared, set, anchored, and opened. And so it is. Okay, so I was just listening to an NPR station here out of Seattle about an hour ago, and they were talking about when Desmond Tutu was here in Seattle, was interviewed by one of their hosts who'd interviewed, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of others, right? And Desmond Tutu was the only one who opened his interview with a prayer. It was notable that he claimed the space, and this is what we're doing here. So I thought of that as we claim space every time we meet. So welcome. We're going to put ourselves into the circle now. So what I'm inviting us to consider doing is we usually, here we are and where you are on the planet, a quality you want to activate within the circle space, any that you might want to put into a healing space, people, four-legged situations. And I think I would like to invite us to also bring into that space a blessing for whatever new. You may not know what it is yet. So you may not have a name for it, but, beginning to bless and protect, guardian circle new that's coming toward you or toward our community. So with that in mind, Sharon Riegie Maynard here, here on Whidbey Island. I am here in the snow. It's beautiful outside. The pine trees and the snow and the sun shining through is really great. And I'm going to bring in 2 situations and 10 people. And I want to ask a blessing on the new that's kind of beginning to form, and all I know it as is stories. And I pass to Sue.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Sue. I'm in Issaquah, Washington. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've been for a walk. I'm bringing, I think it's still the same number, 15. I don't even know who they are. 15 people. And I'm bringing a blessing to embrace the new that is for our highest good. And the willingness to expand from within it. And I'll call on Audrey.
Hi, I'm Audrey and I'm in Northeast PA, and I bring in 4 situations and 11 people, and the quality, foresight, and trust. And for the blessing, I'm blessing stepping in to our divinity, trusting the process, one foot in front of the other, and not looking back. And I tag Deborah.
Thank you. I'm in Central North Carolina. I'd like to bring in 10 people, 4 situations, and a 4-legged. And I'd like to bring in clarity of new directions and steps to take in those directions. And I don't see anybody else on.
The 4 of us, Deborah, you're right there. Okay, so we have 46 people, stated people. The circle is totally available for others who might be put in by their guides. Totally, we're there for that. We have 10 situations, 1 4-legged, and we have the foresight and trust, the willingness to expand from within, the clarity and steps of the new direction. We want those energies here with us. And the blessings we're putting like guardian circles around is we know things are coming. So I'm just, putting stories, embracing the new for our each highest good, stepping into the divinity 1 foot at a time, looking forward, not back. And so we hold that energy field within the collective intelligence of the greater field of which we're a part. Unlimited energy in information, intelligence, possibilities to answer the call of those that need healing on their journey, and those of us who are looking for our next step moving forward. We ask that be done in our behalf. We will participate and we will listen. I'm grateful for the help. And so it is. Okay, so let's go around and whatever's on your heart, whatever you want to say, whether it's something that you want to say in the community, the joys, the sorrows, the ups, the downs, and before we go into our meditation. We don't know where we'll each be taken, but we know we'll be taken to the place that we need to make a change. So this is just for updating each other in whatever way we choose. Deborah, begin.
Actually, I'm going to pass. I actually don't really have much to say right now. So I'll pass to Audrey.
Wow, it was a wild ride for about 5-6 weeks, and I'm glad the ride's done. Wow. And I last Monday I went to a tachyon chamber and it was amazing. And I felt the 0 point, and I travel there almost like daily now. And I go in and I just have like this sense of okay, it's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. And there's one thing that I realized that I have not written, though. I have not written about my journeys. I None of it. So I'm bringing that in because I that's what I do. That's what I do. So and the holidays were weird, but it is what it is. You know, when you have grown kids, it kind of changes, and you find your footing a different way. So I am complete. Sue?
Thank you, Audrey. I'm still noticing what I'm going to call miracles. And that's when somebody changes dramatically and I notice. So, one of the things that just struck me, well, one, my roommate has changed. Yes. I was sitting, there was my son, his wife, and I were sitting in the living room, the TV room. And she asked me why I decided to get my vaccination. And this turned into a pretty intense argument between my son and his wife. He took over when I stated I got my vaccination to help prevent me from getting it, help me prevent serious effects, and help not spread it. So those are the basic reasons I got my vaccination. And she didn't like that. So she was challenging me. And I can't remember if she asked my son or he just got into it. Anyway, they got into it. And I'm watching this. And they reached the point where he has stated it. She's not accepting it. She wants to be heard. She wants someone to agree with her so she can be right. And I know what that feels like. But because I got to see it happen, it was amazing. She's not going to back down. He's not going to give in. He stops. So she stops. And he says, let's play Scrabble. And the three of us played Scrabble. Argument was over. Nothing was dismissed. The argument was over. And I don't know if they've done that before or not. All I know is I was there for it. I've never seen anything quite like that. And I could feel his frustration because he's stating basic facts as he understands them. And she's giving the argument I have heard many times. It's the same language. It's the same argument. It's not my argument. I don't believe any of it. But she needs to be heard. And so she started it the next day. And I can't remember. She said, well, I feel safe because we've all had COVID. My son has had his 2 vaccinations in his booster. And she's had none. And she said, I feel we're safer because we've all had COVID. And I said, I don't know anything about that. And she rattled off some information. And I didn't engage, and we went sledding instead. So I am learning. I can be in the same household. I can be facing somebody I totally disagree with, completely disagree with. And that being threatening to me is gone. To me, that's another miracle. To me, that's a total and complete miracle. I had a shift so big that you can stand on your soapbox and yell at the top of your voice everything you believe in that I don't believe in at all, and not feel threatened. So I'm hoping this is part of the new energy, because if it is, then it won't be just an isolated case that I got. That there will be more and more and more, like a ripple effect going out. That we don't have to, we can hold consciousness without being in conflict. I prefer to hold consciousness for the spiritual truth to be revealed and justice for all. That's kind of my little one-liner. And the spirit has to take over and make that all happen, however it's going to happen. So anyway, that's what I'm feeling, is that I keep seeing people change. I keep feeling changes from within me happening. And so this week, I want to let go of all the old beliefs, all the old attitudes, all the old prejudices, all of that which is not for my highest good. I want to let it go. I just don't want it. I just don't want it anymore. Whether I even recognize it or not, it can go. Anyway, that's where I am. And okay, I got so carried away on that. Who hasn't shared? Sharon, did you share? Okay, go, Sharon.
Yeah, very intense the last bit of time. A lot to observe and a lot to see, and I'm also seeing miracles happen, and we say they're miracles, we put that title to it, but you've done inner work. It just didn't magically somebody tap you on the head. Now we're hoping that our inner work releases the inner work that others maybe don't even know they should be doing. Absolutely that. But then that when you see the impact of, like, my daughter getting into this 6-month program within a week, my daughter getting a heart transplant within 3 days. To me, it's affirming the law that says you're at choice, the law that says if it's in your energy field, it's going to manifest. You have the power to put it in your energy field and to remove it from your energy field. That's your ability. And there are myriad processes and individuals that's now available to make that happen in ways that even 5 years ago wasn't in the same place. And the world's in a totally, I think, receptive place to let the magic begin to ripple. So that's what I see. And in that rippling, for me, that's why I don't even know. I don't even want to assume that what I do in the way I do it is what I am going to be called to do next year. I think for me, I want to be able to let go so completely that I just can kind of let that energy rearrange, and then the bigger plan, show me where I fit by what sparks my heart, and it really makes me passionate. So here we are, heading toward that quote unquote new year, the deadline. So are you ready to do some traveling? Who knows what you're going to be shown? You certainly could say, this is what I want. And you can certainly say, show me what or where. We know how to do all of that. We're in good company here with each other. So but I know that what you hold for yourself, you hold for the circle. What I hold for myself, I hold for the circle. What we hold for the circle is what we hold for our homes and our families and communities. What a powerful place to be today. Okay. Hadn't thought of tachyon energy for a very long time, Audrey. Counted that a long time ago too. So being here in this present moment in which the power is in this now, connected to the past, connected to the future. We are here a particle of listening, a particle of love and joy and expectation of good. As we're on this ground, sacred ground of sovereignty, within the fourfold of red rock, guardian circle, hitchhiker shield, hazmat, with all of those teams that know the plan and know our place in it. We feel totally safe, totally appreciative of being able to say, show me, tell me, answer my questions. I am here. Notice the path that opens for you. Texture, the path, the colors around you. The speed with which you are moved on that path. Where your team awaits a space prepared. Travel in safety and in love and great joy. When you feel complete, we'll meet back here in this circle. Looks like we're beginning. Oh, here we are back. Okay. Sue, can we begin with you?
Thank you, Sharon. I'll see if I can gather my thoughts. So I was kind of flitting around. And then my emotions just sort of exploded with energy. And then I made the decision to go back into observing what I experienced over the weekend. The other thing I experienced was the 8-year-old asked if she could say the blessing. I think it was breakfast, Christmas morning. And she brought us to our knees, literally. Her prayer was so, she was channeling. Thank you, God, for teaching us the true gifts are not the presents. And it was so powerful because it was spiritual truth. And it was from not her human heart, that was from her bigger heart. And it was just, anyway, I got to witness that. It was amazing. And then they asked her to do it for another, if she would like to do another blessing, and she did. And again, it was so heartfelt. So I asked to be taken to the energy of the change of what I'm seeing. And then I was reminded, oh my gosh, starting 40 years ago, that there's been a plan all along what kind of a healer or work I'm going to do. And the last time was a few months ago, and it showed me exactly what it was. And I cannot tell you what it was because they show me, and then it's like, you're not there yet. So bye. Bye for now. And it's like, you're still in training, which is really frustrating to me because, oh my God, I'm going to be 75 in my next birthday. And it's like, so when does training end? Okay, so I went into that energy of change when I sat with that. And what I felt was that sitting in the energy of change gets me out of the way, and I'm holding the energy that is needed for people to change. Not judgment, not anger, not frustration, not just none of that. So it was a mixture of things, and it made me so excited I could hardly sit still because it just feels so. The next thing what I was doing was, I want to be in it now. I don't want to see the future. I want to be in it now, because the power is in the moment. The power is in the now moment. And everything else is wishing and wanting, and I'm done with that. And then that's when I got all excited about the future. Okay. This was amazing, and I never did really get settled. So Audrey, want to go next?
Sure. Wow. So the other day on Christmas, I did a group thing with some people, and a part of the group thing was sending out love to C-19, to the COVID, to the virus. And I wrapped it in cellophane and shrink wrapped it. And today I was guided to blow love into it, and just blow love into this shrink wrap. Just, and as the love it'll start disintegrating it. As the love gets in there and blows it in, the love gets blown into this cellophane thing. It's just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And then I was guided to blow love across the jet streams. And I was like, wow, wow. And then that was like in the middle. And then at the beginning, though, I was like, well, how do I unpack these things? How do I just like leave them go? And it's like, just trust and just say yes, just say yes, just say yes, just say yes, just say yes. And I was like, okay, yes. And that's when I did the blowing and the breathing. And then they showed me my daughter's daughter. So I was gifted with seeing my future grandchild. And it was like, wow, it was beautiful. And then guided about trips to take with two of my kids and gifting my daughter with something else and just trusting and just trusting and just saying yes. It's as simple as just saying yes, is what I was told. And I'm complete.
You want to pass, Audrey?
I do, Deborah. Sorry.
Thanks. Boy, right as you were finishing, I felt Desmond Tutu come and be part of our group, and he's just smiling and just saying, and when you say, just say yes, and he's like, yeah, you guys are on it. Surprised me, I didn't expect to see him. So I asked to go to find out, because my lower back and hip have been worse, and I'm thinking I really may have to say yes to a hip replacement, which is really not what I want to do. So they first took me back to home and had me sit in like a hot pool and had nice energy, you know, healing part of my body and stuff and just realigning things. And then got out and put herbs and different things on it. And they said, okay, you're done enough to go. And then we came back to an island somewhere, sometime. And we went on my, I have a dragon friend, Enoch, who shows up. And he was the human who was subsumed into heaven other than Jesus. So I didn't know that when he told me his name, and somebody said, do you know who Enoch was? And I said, no, so I had to go look it up. So we went to this island, and I got off, and there was this dragon that I've known forever but haven't seen in this lifetime. And I just knew her, and she's like the matriarch of healing and dragons or something. And they said, you came to be healed. And I feel like I'm making it up, but it's such a nice story. And I said, in your last lifetime as a dragon, you were wounded and we couldn't heal you fast enough before you died. You know, we could have healed you, but this is, and this pain is left over from that. And so they took me in to heal me, and I saw these different implements going through my lower back where it hurt. And they said, this is why you're and plus they said that when the implements went in, they put in a lot of negative entity energy that messed up everything. And they said, this is why you're afraid of getting other things put in you, because it's like, this wasn't good. So they were working on healing it when I came back, and I think I need to spend more time and find out more, but that was when I came back. So Sharon.
That's great. Open some more doors, you know, past. Another thing with Desmond Tutu, I get, of course, there were a lot of things on radio with him right today and other days, but he was speaking to the United Nations in relationship to the apartheid in South Africa and the government that wasn't doing quite so much. He said something to the effect, we cannot simply work to redesign the Frankenstein, it has to go. And I went, that's right, it has to go. That's what has to go. And you know, Deborah, it occurs to me too that whatever you do in that lifetime around that, those being put in against your will and not clear, whether or not you do surgery or not, it needs to be cleared. But if you end up doing surgery, that won't be the environment you'll be in again either. So yeah. So what I was told is to really make an empty slate. I've felt for the last couple of days I've got to go through my house again and simplify. I'm not a hoarder, but there are some things I really love, and I almost cry when I think about having to move them on. And so I said, what is that? What is that about? I mean, my seashells and my stones, and I, have more of those than a lot everything else. And they said there that we need to have the opportunity to be free also, to expand what we can do. And so the question is not so much, do you love us too much to let us go, but to love us enough to ask us what we want to do next. And I thought that's going to be helpful. So they said right now it's empty slate, be in the stillness, but physically doing some real emptying of some kind, which might take a bit of time today and tomorrow. Okay. So I'll go ahead.
Only if you're complete. You are complete? Okay. You said something and it triggered a memory that the Neanderthal man has to go. That's the Frankenstein. He's totally in survival and he can't get out. It's the limbic brain, anyway, it's not changing. And then a channel that I listened to said, part of the reason for some of the natural disasters is there's going to be a lot of people passing on. And then I got this message that some people are not going to change. They have to go. They have to go. The only way they can come back different is they have to die and come back different by seeing the bigger picture. And they can't see the bigger picture from here. They just can't do it. And the other part of that was that the people we call the masters are coming back because transformation happens through the body, through the human body. We're a channel. That's why we have to get out of the way. We're a channel, and the masters can come back as channels for the consciousness it takes for the major transformations for us. We're still human beings in a human body, trying to go from a human experience of survival to a spiritual experience of thriving, being aware, the wisdom, the kindness, the compassion, the love and light. I don't know how this is going to happen. I've seen it, but I can't tell you, and I don't even know. So, but I'm seeing it in other people. So that means that's happening to us. That's the proof. It's happening. I see it happening in other people. That means it's happening in us. And I find that exciting. And that was my 2 cents worth. Thank you, Sharon.
It goes back to trusting and just saying yes. We don't have to know, right?
Deborah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say the masters are coming back, because I've been thinking back in the 80s, I was reading The Life and Teachings of the Great Masters. And Spalding, who wrote the books, it's a 5-volume set. He talks about the ones in India who would bilocate. And they would have somebody watching one of them, and he would then appear in another place, and they would time it. And there was like no time difference from when he was here and then when he was here. And I heard God tell me that you need to learn how to bilocate. There will come a time when you have to bilocate. I'm like, okay. And I thought about it, and I was going to try it. I'm like, that kind of freaks me out. It's kind of like, beam me up, Scotty, and I'm afraid my molecules are all going to get scrambled. So I said, I'll work you a deal. Nothing like making a deal with God. I said, I'm really scared about this. But I'm willing to say yes. But what I want to do is appear to this one person who I knew wouldn't freak out if it happened, and have them let me know, because I'd know that they'd call me or let me know somehow if I didn't know it. But I said, I don't want to be aware of it just because it freaks me out right now. I need to know it's possible first. So about 2 weeks later, a week later, he called me up and said, what were you doing Sunday night? I'm like, oh, nothing much. I was home watching TV or something. He said, and I was in DC and he was living in California. And he said, well, I was driving up the coast and you appeared in the car next to me, but only up to the waist. And then you did it again. I said, well, if I only appeared to the waist, how do you know it was me? And he described a skirt I have that was very distinctive. And I'm like, well, thank you. My experiment worked. Thank you for letting me know. And he's like, okay, well, you have to tell me more now that this happened. So I keep getting that it's time to consciously learn how to do it because the time is coming. And when you were talking, Sharon, about we have to be free to go and do, and it's like, maybe. And with COVID, I was thinking, well, it'd be nice. I could go to London for the day and pop home and whatever. But yeah, so I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, I haven't thought about bilocating for a long time.
Yeah, it's been
80s, 90s.
Coming back up the last week or two.
Interesting. In relationship to those who are leaving the planet, what I get is it was, I guess, in the early 90s, I was dating a guy who was really psychic, and he would tell me his dreams, which were very prophetic. And he said, boy, I had this dream. We're coming into the Earth's atmosphere on the spaceship, huge spaceship. And he said, I'm there, you're there, I'm over here doing that. I said, were you the captain of the ship? Because that's the kind of guy he was. He said, no, there wasn't a hierarchy. It was group, and everyone was doing what they needed to do. It was really pretty wonderful. But he said, the closer we got to the planet, there were these orbs of either pink or purple light. And each received one of those orbs, pink or purple. He said, I don't know what that means. So of course I asked, and they said, it's because everyone here is on assignment. They're either holding the light, the pink, what we term as pink, or they're here to show what needs to be cleansed, the purple or violet. And what I get lately is that we are with a contract to be willing to let outsider energy manifest and influence us so that it can be seen is ended. There's enough of us in the purple and the pink orbs that know it exists, enough of us in the pink orbs who know how to remove it and to then rebalance or heal or use love. There's enough of those that we do not need the contracts for our fellow team members to experience and show the outsiders through them. Those who have been willing to do that are many times very damaged because of the experience, but it's a volunteer mission. They took it on. So when they leave, it's because they fulfilled a contract. The damage has been so damaged in their energy bodies that They don't need it. They don't need to recuperate it. It's not their job to do that. And so they're leaving because they've fulfilled their mission. And if they choose to come back, so they will come back with the with the violet orb to participate in what's good. I ask if there is anyone who has died from COVID that died early, before their birth plan said it's time. None of them. None of them. When I checked in, actually those beings from the 9/11 towers checked in with me. They were totally aware that that was a volunteer mission, and they hoped we would get the message, which we didn't. So, you know, those who are so impacted and so trapped in the impact of trauma volunteered to do that so we could see it in order to remove it. They are part of our team. I really, really respect them for that, because it's not one I took on. You know. Okay, let's see where we go into this still, this quiet, this trust, which is wonderful to be in that place. So love you guys. And
Love you.
until we meet again. And Sue, you're meeting on Thursday morning again, the Healing Circle. Okay.
What time is that on Thursday?
9 a.m. Pacific time.
Yep.
And it's this link. It's the same link.
Okay.
Yeah. And we don't record that one. So that one is just who's there. And where this one we record, and I put it on the Sacred Ground and YouTube channel. Okay, love you guys. Have a wonderful next few days and into the new year.
You too. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.